Good morning, students. Welcome to session 4 on IoT. This is Professor Bosco, PG Department of Computer Science, Sacred College, Tirupattur. Now let us see the topics so far completed. Example picture of IoT. What is IoT? History, characteristics of IoT, applications of IoT, IoT categories, IoT enablers and connectivity layers, baseline technologies, sensors. So these are the topics so far we have covered. Dear students, in my previous session, I have told you to choose a title for your mini project for Internet of Things. Many of you chosen the topics, and still if you have any doubt, you can ask me at the end of this session. Now we shall move to today's topics: actuators, IoT components and implementation, challenges for IoT. What is an actuator? An actuator is a component of a machine or system that moves or controls the mechanism or the system. So first of all, we must understand actuator is a component. The component is attached to a machine or a system. We know machine is not a static thing and system is not a static thing. It will be working so that while working it moves one position to another position. So that is why we call machines or systems that moves or controls mechanism of the system. In order to activate the actuators, we need external control signal or external energy is must. Otherwise, these actuators will not start working. So there are two examples given here. One is printer driver, another one is robotics. We use printers. For printers, we give some input by human beings. Example, we open a document, we give print option. So what the printer is doing is, it will print documents in the paper. This is a picture of oil-based hydraulic actuator. So in this picture, there is a piston and there is a piston rod. This piston rod will be moving up and down. So in this, there is a oil. So based on the oil, this piston will be moving up and down. This is an example of actuator. Now we shall see the different type of actuators. First one is hydraulic actuator. In a vehicle, this hydraulic brake actuator is used. As we have seen in the previous picture, there is a piston and there is a piston rod. This will be moving front and back. So in between the rods there is a oil. So this is an example for hydraulic actuator. Next is pneumatic actuator. This is similar to hydraulic brake in a vehicle, whereas this system is more accurate than hydraulic braking system. Small changes will be done reflected soon. Electrical actuator. Example for this is the electrical bell ringing. So we use current. So through the current, this bell is ringing. That is an example for electrical actuator. Here the electrical energy is converted into a mechanical energy. So next we have mechanical actuator. For this example is given as crank and shaft. To operate this, they use mechanical actuator. Next is soft actuator. So this is very much useful for biomedicine as well as fruit harvesting. The biomedicine, this is sent inside our body. So it will scan, it will do some medical operations. small operations done by this soft activators. IoT components and implementation. Dear students, you are already assigned with IoT project. For that, you need to know the various components of IoT and various methods to implement IoT. Here, there are few components. I will explain one by one. Devices, local network, internet, backend services, applications, user interface. The first component is devices. To develop IoT-based application, you have to choose which device you are going to connect with IoT. It can be any device. You can choose according to your interest. Next is local network. So you can choose, there are different type of networks, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, LoRa. So you choose what type of network you want to use. It is also according to your choice. There is no restriction. You have to choose certain network for your IoT project. So next very important component is internet. Whatever device you have chosen, whatever network you have chosen, the internet is must and there is no other option to skip this internet. Because if you are using internet only, you are able to access your device anywhere, anytime. So that is main thing of or main advantage of internet. So internet is very much component of IoT. Next is backend services. There are different type of backend services available. There is business logic, there is database service, there are many other different services. So it has to be supported with other backend services also. And to use all these services, you have to use applications. It can be mobile application or it can be web-based application. So it is also up to your choice. What type of application one, you can use it. If it is in the mobile application, you can use anywhere, no problem. But if it is in the web-based means, you have to log in, you have to see your data, update your data like that. There is a difficulty if it is in the web-based application. If you take IoT, most of the applications are based on mobile only because user will be moving one place to another place. While moving, they want to use the IoT services. For that purpose, they use mobile-based application. And last is user interface. We know for accessing any type of application, the UI is very important. For IoT implementation, we need processor, gateway, proxy server. Gateway is responsible for connecting your local network with a global network. That is to connect with internet. Proxy server is in charge of making multiple connections. If one single connection is coming into the proxy server, then this proxy server will make sure that it will be generating more number of connections. Example, in our college, we get internet connection from BSNL or Vodafone. So that connection is divided into various groups. So that is taken care by the proxy server. As you can see the picture, there are few other implementation techniques used in Internet of Things. That is, we use World Wide Web, sensors, we use Internet, we use WebSocket. For Internet, we use applications, that is based on Python, Arduino, Raspberry Pi. There are different applications we can use. So the things here shown as bulb, and everything is stored in a cloud server. Why we are going for cloud is, it is low cost and high efficiency. There is no need for a maintenance. You can have a cloud server. When you have cloud server, the virtual environment is very important. So wherever you go, all your data will be stored, processed in the cloud server. So that is the purpose. In IoT they use cloud server, and security also high in the cloud server. Next we have service-oriented architecture. This is divided into 4 different layers. We will start from the bottom. First one is sensing layer, next is network layer, next is service layer, next is interface layer. So each layer is transferring all the data to next layer. The bottom layer we have sensing layer, that is responsible for RFID tags, and it will read RFID readers, Bluetooth and so on. So this is basic layer which is going to read all the data. That is the purpose of sensing layer. Next we have network layer. So this is a repeated topic. Anyway, we will see all the technologies used in network layer. Wireless sensor network, internet, mobile network, database, social network, wireless LANs. So all the technologies used in the network layer. Next we have service layer. Service are business logic, service repository, service division and service integration. This is important for doing all the services. Next we have interface layer. Application front-end and other APIs are used to process this interface layer. All these 4 layers consist of a service-oriented architecture. If you do any kind of service in IoT, it has to go through all the 4 layers. IoT interdependencies. IoT comprises of large number of entities. IoT is not a single entity. As I told you in the previous slides, IoT is combination of more number of entities or elements. So we shall see what are they. So IoT is embedded device, because IoT is supposed to be run on a application. That is, you are going to run IoT by any kind of mobile application or web application. That application is supposed to be deployed in an operating system. That operating system is virtual real-time kernel machine. That is an OS. So above the OS only you are going to install your application software. That is your developed application. And for this, to run OS, to run your application, we need some kind of power supply. The power supply is managed by power management, where when a device is on, power supply should be given. When device is off, power supply should be cut. So whenever it is needed, it is supplied. Whenever it is not needed, the power is reduced. So all this taken care by the power management. And as we see, the radio signals, HTTP, Bluetooth, Zigbee, all the connections, communications are done by the technologies, Wi-Fi. So everything is taken care by communication technologies. So the device is included with application. The application is run on an operating system that is managed by power management, and all this is important along with the various network technologies. This is the IoT interdependencies. Because IoT is not a single entity, it is combination of more number of elements. Challenges for IoT. If you take any technology in the world, there are a lot of challenges for each and every technology. In that line, IoT also having a lot of challenges. And IoT also given some of the solution for all the challenges. Now we shall see all the challenges and the solutions one by one. First one is security. Internet of Things is handling a lot of personal data. So for the personal data, the data encryption is added so that security level is little bit increased, and also SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer, the technology is also used to protect all the personal data. Next one is privacy. Our conversations are monitored by means of smart TV, voice recognition, and many of the MNCs need the data. Example, in your house you use smart TV and voice recognition, and you will be discussing many things in your home. All the conversations are in the background monitored. We don't know where it is saved, where it is processed, and so on. When you introduce any technology in your house or in your workplace, anywhere, you are going to lose your privacy. That is very clear. So, second challenge is privacy. This privacy is lost. There is no privacy in your IoT technology. Next one is scalability. Now we are using 3G, 4G, we'll be moving to 5G. And there are group which is now also using 2G technology. That is, half of the world mobile people are using 2G technology, and no mobile company has left 2G technology because they don't want to lose the customers. They are giving support to 2G, and they are also giving support to 3G, 4G, 5G. So all the generation technology they are giving support. Scalability is you have to support with the previous people and you have to support with the next generation people. Here 2G is old generation, second generation people. All are using their mobiles. There is not smartphones. So mobile based companies, they are giving support to 2G as well as the latest 5G. That is called scalability. Bandwidth management. Size of data fit inside the bandwidth. Bandwidth is the maximum size of data you can send. That is called bandwidth. Example, if you take any website, if the bandwidth is 5 MB or 10 MB means if more than 5-10 people are coming to use the website means if one person is allocated with 5 MB of data, other 9 people cannot use the website because the bandwidth is only 5 MB. If it is 500 MB of bandwidth, you can accommodate more number of people. So at a time, many people can access. So like that in IoT, bandwidth is the number of MB you can transfer at a time. If you have more number of bandwidth, your data will be going very fast. The next biggest challenge is interoperability. It is dealing with people, process, things. We know in the world there are more number of population, there is people, and there are more number of things used by people, and all this going to be connected with the process. So people supposed to go along with the things. For that, this interoperability is very, very important. This is biggest challenge because things are in separate condition, people are in separate condition. To connect people and things, it's very difficult. So that is what we call it as interoperability. Next we have data storage. Since IoT is generating a lot of data, we need to store it in a very big high volume of data storage. So high data storage is another challenge for IoT. Data analytics. Data analytics is after collecting all the data, we need to find out what is the output of the data has been stored in the storage. If we store 1 GB of data, we need to come to conclusion that what is the purpose of storing 1 GB data? Whether we are able to take any decision out of the stored data. That is very, very difficult for data analytics. So analytics will be useful for business purpose. To take decisions, they go for data analytics. The next challenge is standards. If you set any standard that is to use IoT, IoT will go beyond the standards. If you set a standard, the standard will be lacking behind, but your IoT will be going one step further. So setting a standard is highest challenge for IoT. The last one is regulations. Like standards, you cannot set regulation for the IoT technology because all the rules and regulation will be staying back and this technology will be growing very fast. So you cannot set up particular rules and regulation for people, for country, for all over the world. So regulation is not adapt to this IoT. Thank you, dear students.